It's the middle of August, so it's time to talk about going back to school. Hey everybody, it's Tristan Emond with Mindful Living Realty, a realtor right here in Rapid City, South Dakota, the gateway to the Black Hills. So a lot of you have asked about the school districts. Today we're going to spend some time looking at the different websites, giving you the tools and resources you need to figure out where the school districts are in relation to maybe the home you're thinking about buying or the area you're thinking about buying in. Let's get after it.
All right, so everything in Rapid City and even outskirts of Rapid City will be the Rapid City Area Schools District. So that's all the same district for all the schools within the Rapid City area, and that is at RCAS.org. So this is the perfect website you need to check out for all the different things regarding the school district. Those, for instance, if you hit parents here, you can get the back to school lists. You can learn more about nutrition services, and this is where we're going to start here with the enrollment and transfers to kind of give you a feel of what's going on. So if you're just moving into the district, this is a good place to start. Check out this new students in kindergarten screening process to learn about what you need to do to get your student registered for the classes. This also is where you can learn about school transfers, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And look at this, also homeschool, and look at this, school boundary maps. So this will be the maps showing what areas go to which school. So you can see here in the Rapid City School area, we've got all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 15 elementary schools, 5 middle schools, and 2 high schools. There's also a Rapid City High School, which is an alternative high school for those students who need a little more attention, a little more time, a little more personal attention. So if you click on each one, we'll get a PDF pulled up here that shows the map of the area. We'll look up here at the disclaimer, a little caveat there saying, hey, if things change, we're not responsible. So we want to make sure that if anything's on the border, that we really do a double check to make sure that if you have to live in a certain school district, that home is in the district or in the schools that you want to attend. But you can see here, we've got all these different schools. You can check out their boundary maps just right here. Now, another way to confirm the schools that a certain address goes to, if you know the address, you can go down here to student transportation. And then right here is the attendance and busing eligibility search. Click on that button right there. And now you can enter in an address. For instance, this is my listing that I just put online, 940 Allen. And I can do a search. And it's going to tell me what school, which high school I go to, what the elementary that I go to. And this is kind of cool. Look at this. You can scroll out here. And when you hover over this, it not only shows you the school, but also shows you the area, the boundaries of that certain elementary school. So Horace Mann has this boundary. Do the same thing for middle school. That shows you that boundary. And then high school, the same thing. You've got that boundary. So this is a good thing to point out here on Central. So you see most of, get out of there, will you go away? There you go. All right, so you can see here, this is kind of, the east-west line in Rapid City. So it's got all of East Rapid City, but it also goes all the way down here, almost to, here's Hermosa right here. So it's going halfway to Hermosa. It's going all the way out through down into here, but not like right here next to Box Elder, which will be the Box Elder School District, the Douglas School District. What you also notice on this map is the transportation. So all high school, no transportation is provided. There's no busing for any high school in the Rapid City School District, which is why when my kids were 15, they got their license so that they could drive their own butts to school. And if you are within 2 miles of the elementary middle school, you do not get bused as well. Outside of 2 miles, you do. Inside of 2 miles, you don't. However, there are certain circumstances where you will get bused depending upon where your subdivision sits in the area. For example, we had a major road between our neighborhood and the school. So because that major road was there, they bused our kids, our elementary kids, and our middle school kids out of our neighborhood to the elementary school, even though it was less than 2 miles away. So go ahead and check this side out. Make sure that you know what your transportation requirements are for your area as well. Of course, I'll have all these links in the description below, but this is a great tool for you to use. Check out your listing address, throw that in there, see what schools you go to, see if those are the ones that you want it to be into or not. Now, let's say that you find a home that you really want to buy, but you want your kids to go to another school. If you go here, back here to the student registration, and you hit your transfers, that will give you the information regarding the open enrollment and transfers. Now, here's the deal. If you decide that you want to send your child to another school, that's good for that year only. So you could get your kid into a certain elementary school for 4th grade, But in 5th grade, they don't get that enrollment, and then they're back to the school they're supposed to be at based upon the location. So when you do this, of course, make sure you consider that in your decision making. But you can see on this page is the form that you can put in, and it talks about here, where does it say that the application is reviewed and the order received, and subject to the space availability or the program. So no guarantees are made. If you are accepted, you can then move forward with that. It looks like the transfers are now all online. It used to be that you'd actually have to go down to the office and wait in line to get into your position for getting that school transfer. I heard scare stories back in the day of parents waiting in line as early as 3, 4, 5 in the morning to get in line soon enough for that popular school that they wanted their kids to be sent to. I want to talk a little bit about the borderline areas. Let's concentrate on the area in Somerset. So the Rapid City School District, they came up and they got a hold of Blackhawk and most of, so the main part of Somerset, which is right here, is actually part of the Rapid City School District. Now, just up the road here is the Meade County School District, which we'll get into in just a little bit. Now, I do know some people that live in the Somerset area that send their kids to the Meade County School Districts. There is an elementary school in Piedmont, so that's not too far away, and a newer middle school also in Piedmont Valley, not too far away from Somerset. However, at this point, the only high school is Sturgis, which is about a 20-minute drive away. So that's where your high school kids would go to school in the Meade County School District. The next school district to talk about is Douglas School District, which is the school system in Box Elder. You've got both an elementary, middle, and high school right in Box Elder here to support the communities and the people around the Box Elder School District. I have heard a lot of great things about the Douglas School District. Of course, it is full of lots of military families, but a lot of parents seem to want to live in that area so they can send their kids to the Douglas School District. As we've already kind of talked about a little bit, Meade School District is over here. So we're just above Somerset, Piedmont, through Sturgis, this whole area kind of right in here. That would be the Sturgis of the Meade County. Even some of the cities over here, the rural areas over here will be part of the Meade County School District. All right, now that we move up the map a little bit, we get to Whitewood, Spearfish. This area here, this is the Spearfish School District. Just north of Spearfish is the Belfouche School District, and this is their website here. And then south of Spearfish is the Lead Deadwood School District. Now here's where you have to kind of be careful through here. So like Nemo Road, about halfway up Nemo Road is still Rapid City School District, and then that switched over to Lead Deadwood at some point. So to make sure that you, when you're living in the hills, that you know what your school district is on the property that you're buying. Center of the Hills is the Hill City School District. As you can all see in that first picture of the Hill City School District, they're the only school in the nation that gets to have a graduation ceremony in front of Mount Rushmore. So Hill City School District is there. I believe that some people here in Keystone, they'll come over there to Hill City as well. While we're here, we can pop over to Hermosa, which is actually part of the Custer School District. So Custer through Hermosa is that school district there. Down in Custer, they've got a newer high school that's pretty cool, and they just built a new school in Hermosa as well. And of course, Hot Springs on the south end of the hills, which are going to include your Buffalo Gap and a lot of the communities and subdivisions around the Hot Springs area. So as you're looking for properties, either in Rapid City or in the hills, make sure you check out these different websites for information on transferring, if that's what you'd like to do, and the other things that are going on in each school district. But what about private schools? We've got a number of private schools in the Rapid City area as well. This is the website for the Rapid City Catholic School System. They've got schools from preschool all the way up to St. Thomas More High School, which is a very popular high school here in town. Another popular private school option is the Rapid City Christian School. They host grades anywhere from 6 all the way up to 12. Children's House Montessori is another popular option for the younger ages. They host anywhere from ages from 3 to 9. But then if you did a Google search for Rapid City private schools, you'll also find a whole bunch of private schools here in town, most of which are just elementary and middle schools. Okay, so what about homeschooling in South Dakota? Fortunately, homeschooling in South Dakota is relatively easy. All you really have to do is go to this website right here and fill out this form, letting the state know of your intentions to homeschool your children. And this site wasn't really explicit as far as the rest of the rules, so I did find this site here that made things a lot easier and understandable. So once you have filled out your form and said, hey, I'm going to homeschool your children, there are some basic things that you just need to make sure that you do. And let's go down here. Begin by Home 6. Here's the alternative instruction. Make sure that you're teaching language and math and mastery to English language, get all that. And of course, anytime you make a change, you tell the education department about that. Now, it used to be that you were required to take the standardized testings for your children, but in July of 2021, that rule was changed and you no longer have to have those tests done. But however, it probably is a good idea to keep track of your hours, your lesson plans, that kind of information, just so that you can say, hey, look what we did. We took care of it. We did do our job educating our children. What this updated law in 2021 also did was allow to have the homeschool children to be able to participate in extracurricular activities and the other services offered by the public school. All you have to do is just communicate with that public school, see what they need, make sure that you fill out all the forms and paperwork to get everything in place for your child to be able to participate with the public school as far as those extracurricular activities. There are also numerous homeschooling groups throughout the Black Hills. I've seen Facebook groups where they get together, have picnics, have field trips, and other such things. So if you are homeschooling your children, make sure you reach out to other homeschoolers and be part of that community.
All right, I hope those websites will be useful to you when you start researching the different schools around, where you want to live based upon those schools, and really can kind of narrow down that information for you. Now, the next question you're going to ask me is, which ones are the best? And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I can't tell you that. Fair housing prohibits me from steering you to a certain neighborhood based upon the school or away from a certain neighborhood based upon a school. So I cannot tell you what's good or what's bad because that's actually something that you need to decide for yourself. But what I can do is provide you with the resources to help you make your own decisions. So the first website to check out is greatschools.org. That's kind of the cream of the crop when it comes to these school reviews. The other one I liked is publicschoolreview.com, I believe. publicschoolreview.com. Now, as far as my personal experiences, so we've got 4 children and we homeschooled them to about 2005 and then sent them all to the Rapid City Public Schools. So they've been through all the way from elementary to middle to high school. We've done it all. And for the most part, we've had a really good experience with them in their school systems. The only negative I could find is the fact that they are stupid smart. And they were just so far ahead of everybody that my third son was so bored in elementary school and some of the teachers just weren't there to help him move him along. When we talked to the teacher about, hey, maybe you can give him extra work, blah, 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 she pretty much said, yeah, you can do that at home. So we didn't get some of the gifted program type of support that we would like to have seen for our children. However, once they got into high school and they started being able to take some AP courses and getting into some of the higher maths, that was much more their speed and they were able to move right along and actually really enjoyed high school as they got into the higher classes. Now, if your child needs some extra help, if they need a paraprofessional, if they're a little disabled, the Rapid City School District has done an amazing job to make sure that your kids feel included and part of the learning experience. Make sure you have that conversation with the school district and each individual school to kind of find out what they can do for you and your children if you need some more special needs for your children. Another great positive about the Rapid City Area School District, and actually all the school districts, is our relationships with the colleges around. So Black Hills State University, South Dakota School of Mines, Western Dakota Tech, all of these universities have some great dual credit programs that work with your high school students. So you can actually take college courses, get that high school credit, get that college credit, and get that leg up going into college. My kids have had real good success with the dual credit enrollment programs. And when they did go to college, they had already a number of freshman courses already out of the way. However, we do have a few less opportunities than some bigger cities and some less remote places. My second son that graduated as a mechanical engineer from Purdue University a couple years ago, he was a little bit behind some of his classmates because they had more opportunities to take some higher end college courses that he wasn't able to participate in that we offered here. Finally, one of the things I've absolutely loved about our school district is the strong arts program. Band, choir, one-act plays, all these things have a strong presence in our schools. Whether your kids are involved in one-act plays or marching band or swing choir, there's always something that your kid can do. On top of fine arts, there's debate and math counts and knowledge bowl, plus all your traditional sports, track and field, and all those things that our kids love to do. All right, I hope I answered a lot of questions for you today. If I missed anything, leave me that question in the comments below. I'll be sure to respond to you, or maybe I'll even do another video answering those questions that I can. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have an amazing day. Remember, love where you live.